Welcome to Beyond Abuse channel. Today I'm going to be focusing on the topic of the unfair game of narcissistic abuse. This is video 2 in the series. If you missed 1, I'll link it here so you can check that out as well. Today's focus is going to be on the confusion about their conditional behaviors. That one minute they're nice and the next minute they're treating you in ways that you can't understand. If that seems like it's something that interests you and it's important for you to know more about, please stay tuned. Remember to like, share, and subscribe if this is your first time here. Thank you again for stopping in. I look forward to giving you more information coming up now. So, terms and conditions. There are terms and conditions to every single thing they've ever done, and I'm going to be talking about several of those today. Well, number one, they do it for the illusion factor. So right, in the beginning, they're doing all these kind things to build up, to get us in a place where we feel really comfortable and feel that we're loved, we're getting all our needs met, that we're soul mates, and that we connect on in every level possible, but that's because it's all a facade. It's an illusion, right? So they're going to do acts of kindness and make us happy in the beginning, because they're looking for more from us in the future. Oftentimes, they will also get engaged fairly quickly, and that is a way to give a promise without having to do a lot other than buy the ring and ask, will you marry me? And they may not even ask you, they may just leave the ring. So basically, that is not a real commitment, but on their part, a way to entrap, an act of kindness to entrap, and to make sure that their supply is locked in and feeling there's a commitment. There's less apt to pull away from an engagement than if you were just dating. So that's one part. So that's also part of the second one, which is a build-up to a punishment. We want to bring people up if they're down. Oftentimes we did that with the narcissist, try to make them feel better, to put them in a better mood, to make them happy by doing things, because then we feel that's our job. The narcissist has made that our job as a codependent person. If they're not okay, we're not okay, because that's the dynamics of what's going on. The narcissist doesn't ever want people to be happy around them, because it's always about one-upping everybody. They need to be on top, and in order for them to be on top, they need to squish everyone around them back down and suppress them. And on a core level, they are always jealous, they are always comparing, they're judgmental, and they can't see good, they're only seeing negative and the lack. So there's no possibility that they really are happy, they're just acting as though they are happy. And that's part of the illusion as well. I know that the narcissist in my life was smiling at everybody, and now I realize this was about engaging the community and people around them. And this is facade. Nobody smiles 24/7. This person during the honeymoon phase smiled all the time. And so I look back at pictures and the eyes are not smiling. It was all part of the act. And so in order to build us up, in order to punish us, that concept is similar to like in Hollywood, right? The papers and magazines love to build this person up and make them the best thing ever, right? The smartest, the most beautiful, the this, the that, the other. And then like overnight, all of a sudden, they're nobody. They're just tearing them down and spreading lies and all that. It's much easier to tear someone down after you've done some good and made them feel good, to bring them back down again. And so that's another reason why they'll do good things, is to be able to elevate you and make you feel like one thing and then disappoint you, which is also part of their way of punishing, right? So that they can feel better. If something successful is happening for you, or you're feeling secure, they don't want that unless it's on their terms. unless they're able to control that, because they're about power and control. The next one is that they will do things to get their next need met. So kindness can also be, I offer to do something for you, like take the dog to the dog park, or go pick something up at the store for you. But really, later on, you find out that was about them getting out of the house so that they can do the behind the scenes things they were doing, all the secretness. It would have been much harder for them to leave the house randomly for no reason at all once they're home without giving a reason. Not that I'm looking for a reason, but just logically before you leave, be like, oh, I've got to do this. It's much easier if you think that they're doing something kind for you to not suspect that they're off doing something else. So on the way to the store, onto the dog park, they're up to no good doing something else, but they're making it seem that they're doing things because they care about you and they love you. And so that you would never suspect. But that goes back to what a child would do, right? We think of a kid who wants to go to their friend's house that, you're not supposed to go to. And rather than coming out and saying that you're going to somebody else's house, they might suspect, wait a minute, you're probably going to that friend's house that we don't want you to go to. So the child pretends, oh, I'm gonna go to the store for you and pick that up for you. And then they're gone for a long period of time and you're confused. And I used to get, well, I bumped into somebody. No matter what. And if they came back quickly, it was a joke in my mind. I was like, oh, so you didn't bump into anybody today? But I didn't realize really this is what was happening. Subliminally, I must have known, because why did that come to my mind? So it's also used as a distraction. So if, let's say you came home and they were doing something they didn't want you to do, all of a sudden now they're going to be kind to you. They're going to do something as a distraction for the other thing that they were doing. It can also be a setup. So now they want to do something in the future that they know that you may not be okay with, or that is tricky and they don't know how to go about it. They will do a bunch of nice deeds to kind of butter you up and prepare you for that act of kindness. So there are many different ways that the narcissist pulls these games. It's always under conditions. The conditions can be that other people are there or they're not there. It could be that they're trying to impress the person that's behind the counter at a store. Something that we would never feel the need to be kind to someone else because that matters. But to the narcissist, everybody matters. And a perfect example of this is that we were at the store, and coming out, we had lots of bags of groceries. And the normal thing I did is I grabbed them all. And I was the person that didn't want to have to take double trips or have to bring the cart back, but I don't like to leave the cart out there. So instead, I grab all the bags, right? 3 in each hand, 1 over each shoulder, and I've got them because that's what I do. I got a reaction that was so intense and looked at me and said, "You're making me look bad. Give me some of those." And instantly, I just gave them up and thought, yeah, why am I not allowing him to do his part? That's pretty controlling on my part, that I'm not allowing him to be a man and be helpful and do his fair share in the relationship. I'm taking over. In my head, that's what I was thinking. How twisted is that when I look back? The full picture of the fact that even the smallest thing that I had in my hand, we're at a fair or something, and I want to pick something else up or look at something. Can you hold this? Got the reaction of glare, and he'd take it. And then the second I was done, he was throwing it back at me and said, "I don't like to have to hold things." That's not the same person who all of a sudden, and I remember when that happened, it was so intense that I thought about it and I remembered it, and a huge aha happened when all this unraveled. Wait, this was about the impression that others were having. That made him look bad because he wasn't doing his share. not look good for him, but that is what was going on. If I was taking groceries in and he happened to be around by the car, would not necessarily help, but might have helped if it was in the driveway versus in the garage. See, these things happen so randomly, we don't understand the terms and conditions are based on conditionally what they're thinking about in regards to the illusion they need to create, because this illusion they need to create around us is something that's so foreign and unimportant to us that we don't recognize those little slight differences, that they change like the weather. Like one moment they're one way and one moment they're not. So it seems like, well, when they can do it, they will. Maybe if you pass by me doing the groceries, oh, he's in the middle of something. He is tired. Like there's a million excuses because you've seen it happen here and there that you don't understand why it's happening is based on those terms and conditions. And in doing so, we become conditioned to these behaviors because this is what we're doing, and why we're doing it is based on their behavior. Had I not gotten the glares, the comments about not holding things, made to feel as if it was my responsibility and that it's beneath him and all these other things, I wouldn't necessarily have felt I had to do everything. But because he didn't want to do much for me in general, except for in the beginning. But again, the beginning phase and stages of it are about conditioning us to feel that this is what we're getting into. This was their investment in it. And once they are fully invested, which is not a lot, in the first few months or slowly over time, it weans away. And I remember a few times that I questioned something. I remember there was one day we always sat next to each other and there was a bench seat in the truck. And so I would sit right next to him. And then all of a sudden, there was a divide between us of stuff. And I was like, how come? And he's like, I need an armrest. And it baffled me. I was like, what? Then I remember another time where, he would open the door and then he would stop even opening the door like you personally do it for someone behind you. And at times he wouldn't. And I said, what happened? You used to open even my car door. And the answer, I remember, kind of gave me chills, and I instantly kind of suppressed it, was, how come you don't open the doors anymore? I used to do that. And he said, I don't have to do that anymore. That was just for dating. And I was like, what? And then I thought, no, I can do it myself. I'm quite capable. I believe that the things I can do, I should do myself. But it was not just what was said. It is the way it's said. It is the energy level behind what is said that was chilling. It was the facial expression. It's the body language. It is everything that encompasses it. So we get mixed messages because they say one thing and then they act another way. And then the energy feels different as well. It feels uncomfortable. And we start looking back. It always felt like there was a payoff, that there was something that we needed to do back for them. There was always a feeling that I owed for anything that I had done in the past. And it can even be brought up again and thrown at you when they want to. So this is just about gaining leverage and about making you feel that you are internally grateful for this person for the little things that they have done, and that you start to forget all the things that you have done for them that you didn't require any ties, terms, or conditions attached to it. They had them, we didn't. So we kept giving and giving and giving. We got crumbs that we thought were genuine. We thought that they were caring and that they wanted to give to us and that they cared about us. But it's not about doing that for anybody. If they are doing it to create pain or punishment or make you feel as if they are giving it to someone else and not you, that is part of their terms and conditions. This is part of the power play. This is not real. They don't feel it differently for someone else. They're just presenting it differently. So understanding where the illusion is, what the tactics are, and how it works in their world that we were living in that we didn't recognize. It's like we were on another planet and couldn't understand this alien being as who they were. Together, we can share the knowledge, share the information, be able to heal. When we need to heal, it's about uncovering, unraveling, so that we can heal it. You have got this. Stay tuned. Continue to empower yourself. Knowledge is everything. Once we understand it, we can heal from it. Thank you again for tuning in. I look forward to seeing you again next time. For more information and more support, see the links below.